Good afternoon, 49er faithful. It is game day. Pretty excited to be here. Week 14, 49ers versus Bengals. Got my special guest here with me. Everybody say what's up to Silverado Kev. Silverado Kev, how you doing on game day, my man?
Ooh, man, hoping for a miracle.
Hey, man, we got to stay positive. You know that. Very cool.
Yeah,
hey, you guys know 49. You know Silverado Kev. He comes over from 49ers. Real Talk 49ers Talk. Always get that tripped up in my mind.
Yeah,
Real Talk 49ers Talk.
Yeah.
The link to that YouTube channel is down below in the description of the video. You know Silverado Kev from my channel. You know him from Grant's channel. You know him as a contributor for Sports Illustrated, SI Now, 49ers. Always a welcome guest. And we got some topics that we want to get into. I'm excited to see those folks in the chat getting down. I see a Bengals fan in there. I'm keep my eye out. As long as the trash talk stays friendly, it's all good. If it gets negative, there's going to be some muting happen in the chat there for sure, because I keep it positive on game day. Critical, but positive. All right, Kev, so just jumping right into it, got to talk about today's impact players. How do you see it breaking out for, to me, what I think to be the biggest matchup is Bosa versus everyone else he matches up against. The 49ers move him around the line. I just read an amazing stat today that came out in Matt Barrows' piece around Nick Bosa and just how dominant he has been from each side of the line. Check this out. So far this season, he's taken 159 snaps as a right outside end, according to True Media, 153 as a left outside end. Of his 12 sacks, they split right down the middle, 6 from the right, 6 from the left. He's got 20 pressures on the right. He's got 20 pressures on the left. He's forced 2 fumbles. One from the left and one from the right. It's ridiculous how balanced this man has been.
Extreme balance, right.
It's crazy. So that puts him up against, his choice, right? Because that's apparently what it is he gets to choose down by down whether he wants to rush from the left or the right, which is sort of unheard of for a third-year defensive end. But he's got his choice of Riley Reif on the right tackle or Jonah Williams on the left tackle. What's your word on how Bosa is going to perform today, knowing I've got my Bosa jersey on for good luck?
Hey, man, listen, Bosa going to have the Bosa. You feel me?
That's right.
I mean, even though other guys have began to show up along that D-line and, DJ Jones doing his thing, Arden Key that showed up for a minute. Charles, damn it, I do it every time.
It's a tongue twister.
So, again, a group effort, a team effort. I just hate seeing Bosa out there looking like he by himself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's right.
There's a couple times Bosa either don't get there or he gets there. He gets up like, yo, where y'all at? You know what I'm saying? So you know,
he's the only one in the backfield. It's supposed to be meet the quarterback, but
meet at the quarterback.
Yeah, meet at the quarterback.
Not just watch me get there. But the beauty of it is, and what I love about Bosa, it never shows in his play how frustrated he is with lack of help. He just gets up and restarts. Actually, I can't say restart the motor because the motor never stops.
It never stops. It's a relentless motor.
And does his thing again. Yeah, man, I really think the defense is going to have to win this game, because, what we got on the offensive side, in terms of the negatives, with injuries and things like that. And the biggest negative being Jimmy Garoppolo. So the defense is going to have to win this, or put them in position to win this, I should say.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that this game rests on the defensive line, putting up Taylor Cornell's chat in the box there. He is our Bengal insider. If you missed it earlier this week, I had the pleasure of bringing Taylor on my podcast. I was on his podcast, my live stream, and he runs the Who Dey Den Bengals podcast, and he says definitively that Bosa would have more success rushing Riley Reif or their right guard, in his opinion. And Bosa has had some success in bouncing inside as well and rushing from the interior in addition to the left and the right. I love Bosa's quote this week about his good buddy Burrow. He's a good friend of mine, and I definitely want to hit him a few times.
Right.
You got to love that friendly trash talk between friends at just getting that sack. This is going to be all about Bosa versus Jonah Williams, Bosa versus Riley Reif, Bosa versus Hakeem Adenine, or however that is pronounced. I apologize to him if I've missed it.
Bosa versus everybody.
Yes. But the question also becomes, on the other side of the line, when we're talking about impact players, the other side of the line seems to be equally important for the 49ers because the Bengals really aren't slouches when it comes to getting to the quarterback themselves, in particular with their left and right defensive ends. Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard are playing very well so far this year, and they have 10.5 and 7.5 sacks, respectively. It's much less common for Trey Hendrickson to roam around in the way that Nick Bosa does. So it appears the key matchup there will be Trey Hendrickson over Trent Williams. And on the other side, Sam Hubbard over Tom Compton. Which one of those two do you feel better about, Kev? And which one might be giving you fits and nightmares, as it is me?
In terms of Hendrickson versus Trent Williams, advantage Trent Williams.
Yes, right?
Hubbard versus that guy, last name Compton, advantage Hubbard. And Hubbard's the guy, I think he was at Auburn, right? His name like Sensei or something like that? Or
I'll take your word for that.
Yeah, because I liked him coming out of college. But yeah,
nice.
Man, Tom Compton, bro, like I said this last night on our show, people from Compton should be ashamed his last name's Compton. you can't rep Compton like that, bro. I mean, I don't care who you from, what color you are. With a name like Compton, you got to be solid, legit. And that boy about soft as table butter. You know what I'm saying?
Soft as table butter. That's a hell of a saying, Kev, and I think it's true. Now, it is far different for him in the run game, and so I think the 49ers have to cover up for his deficiencies by running behind Tom Compton. That there have to be some creative plays where you're taking advantage of Tom Compton in space and taking advantage of the fact that the Bengals and Sam Hubbard are most likely going to be very aggressive when they're rushing the passer because of the fact that Tom Compton is softer in that portion of his game than he is with regard to run blocking. The pass protection just isn't quite there for him. I have to agree that that's going to be a real issue for the 49ers and should be an area of focus for Kyle Shanahan in how creative he gets with the game plan. Another key matchup for me is Joe Mixon against the 49ers run defense. If Joe Mixon gets going, it's going to be a long day for the 49ers. Do you anticipate that with the return of Fred Warner, with the rising nature and physical nature of Azeez Al-Shire's play the last couple of games, you see him being able to contain Joe Mixon pretty well?
Actually, to get to that, I think the run defense, a la DJ Jones in the middle, has been a lot better the past couple of weeks.
It has. I love me some DJ Jones.
Right. I still need to try that, man. So I do think the run defense is going to contain Joe Mixon. I know his last name Mixon, but put that boy in blood and mix him up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Keep that boy bottled up. And I do think with Fred coming back, and now let's not forget that Azeez played amazing last week with 16, 18 tackles, something like that.
It was unbelievable. 16 tackles, forced fumble. I picked him up for my independent defensive player in fantasy, and he lit the world on fire.
Right. So I do think, and he shoots gaps like no other. You see what I'm saying? So that boy shoots gaps like with the best of them. And he been balling all season. I'm actually writing an article on him right now. You know what I'm saying? So look out for that. But yeah, man, I do think with Fred back with the extra help, in the middle or at the second level, it'll definitely be a lot easier to keep Mixon bottled up.
Yes, that seems to be a key to the game for me because with that three-headed monster that we're going to talk about in a little bit with those wide receivers, if they allow Joe Mixon to get going, then it's just too much to cover for that 49ers defense. That is a lot to ask. A couple of questions coming in from the chat that I'm going to get to. Smooth Truckin' asking you, Kev, last night you said Debo shouldn't play, which I agreed with. So what do you think about him playing today? We'll touch on how they should limit Debo later, but in quick,
Right.
Kev, how do you feel about that question from Smooth Truckin'?
If it was me, he'd be in the snap count. He would not be in the
Snap count.
backfield. If he was in the backfield, he would be in the backfield as a decoy, just to draw attention to him. So I don't need. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I feel you on that one. I think when he gets the handoffs, there's much more sudden stops and starts. And
Right,
that to me is the
right.
worrisome piece with the groin issue.
Mm-hmm. And groins are tricky, man. I've had a couple of them, and them things hurt. You understand me?
I only have one groin, but it has hurt at times as well. Yeah, you pull that thing and you're going to know it.
Yeah, bro. Like laughing, sneezing, all of that. It's painful, So, but yeah, man, just Shanahan, please, if you happen to see this, please don't overuse Debo. He just came back 15 minutes ago. You know what I'm saying?
He is far more important than this one game. That's a fact.
Yes, exactly.
Luke Luna coming in just to show some love. Schuh, Kev, nothing but love. Let's go get it. God bless. Appreciate you, Luke Luna. Honestly do. All right, Playboy Chewy coming in. Should 49er fans be optimistic about Bosa winning Defensive Player of the Year when Micah Parsons is playing lights out? That's a tough one. I think that Bosa would need to, in my book, Kev, I'll be interested to hear your take, but in my book, Bosa would need to put together at least a couple multi-sack performances to close out this year in order to be in the running. I think he just doesn't get the same coverage as some other players on a national standpoint. And right now, even as impressive as his numbers are, considering the lack of balance on the 49ers defensive line, standalone numbers, they don't jump out above other key players in the league.
Facts. Let's not forget that Bosa could possibly win the comeback player of the year.
Yes.
Award. So I'm not really worried about him not winning. Defensive player of the year. And Michael Parsons is a monster. And on Michael Parsons' side, he could win rookie. Defensive player. Defensive rookie of the year. So
right.
I mean, there's a couple angles and avenues you could take. I'm fine with what Bosa's doing as it is. I'm fine with what he's doing.
Regardless of any awards he gets at the end of the year, I'm happy with Bosa's production.
Right.
All right, Swift Dog 49er coming in. Let's go 49ers. Keep positive vibes going to you and the faithful. Swift Dog, we stay positive and truthful on this show, but mainly from me, you're going to get that positivity. That's how I roll. Just a dude man comes in with a question. If Hasty has his mean hat on, will we be fine this week? My prediction is a big game from Hasty and Brandon Ayuk. I definitely think Hasty will need to complement Jeff Wilson Jr. I love Jeff Wilson Jr.'s play style. I love that dark side to his personality that George Kittle describes. But we just haven't really seen a great deal of production from Jeff Wilson Jr. so far this season. He's had several games where he had enough carries, but it's been a constant struggle to get anything above 3 yards per carry in most of these contests. Now, that's not entirely his fault. He's running into 8-man boxes. Certainly, teams are selling out to stop the 49ers on the run. But I think it's true here that we may need a boost from Hasty, who I suspect will continue to dominate the third down role as the third down back.
To speak to that, I'm going to say he'll have a great game so long as he's used right. Because if you notice, we've tried to pound him up in the middle a couple times, and I'm like, what are we doing? Use him more short yardage. Get the man on the edge. Get him on the outside.
Yes.
Hit him on the screen or something like that. He ain't but so big, what I'm saying? Use him to his strengths.
I love it.
Shout out to his father, Charlton. Like I told him, I'm gonna write about him too, and how they're misusing his son. You know what I'm saying? So shout out, brother Carlton out there, man. Hasty's father. Met him at the airport a couple months ago. So
nice.
Hasty, I'm a fan too, man. But they gotta use you right, man. They gotta use you right.
That's right. That is key.
Pop passes, screens. Something. Not 4th and 1 when they're clogging the middle.
No, that's not his strength.
And the boy can boogie, Rod. The boy
get
can
him
boogie.
The ball in space. Yes,
and he's shifty.
He should. I love it.
Man.
Texas Niner making some predictions. Tom Compton going to have a great game. I hope they run behind him because that seems to be the way to set him up for success. Joe
I hope
Mixon
you're
going
right.
to get bottled up. I love the positivity in these predictions. And then super chat coming in from Chris Royale. All right. If you got a name like Compton, you need to be a gangster. I like
That's what
it.
I'm
I like it.
saying.
You got to represent. Hey, that's what Kev's saying. You got to represent the name so that people can be proud of that. Tom Compton can step up today and make 49er faithful proud. That would be a positive thing. All right, let's get into our next topic here, Kev.
Okay,
Getting creative with the run game. Getting creative without Elijah Mitchell. This ties into the Tom Compton argument because certainly you're going to need Tom Compton and Daniel Brunskill to hold up their own in run blocking on that right side of the line. I think it's you rest assured that that's going to be the case on the left side, that Trent Williams is going to handle business in the run game and the pass game, and that you have Tomlinson there. That's solid, but you have to be ambidextrous in my mind. You have to be able to run to the left and the right and slow down that pass rush. In getting creative, how many touches in the running back position would you ideally like to see from Deebo in this one, Kev?
Well, it's sad that we're even talking about Debo first. Let's just start there.
Yeah,
The fact that we're talking about how many carries Debo's going to get as a running back, and we're starting there first, is an issue. You know, and
it really is.
With Mitchell out, I'd only use Debo. Actually, use him in the run game if the run game itself isn't really getting going. And I really wouldn't have handed the ball off to him. I kind of just use him as a decoy, just kind of get defenses on edge. But maybe 2 or 3. And you know what? I would rather not even have him be in the backfield, just a jet sweep maybe, if that. A pop pass or something. But please don't overuse Debo because this one game is far less important than the rest of the season.
Well said. I think that the jet sweep stays in that pattern of attempting to protect Debo from himself in limiting the snaps wherein he's going to be doing a lot of heavy, quick stop start. The jet sweep allows for him to be in much more of a gliding pattern to his run style, because I think it is when you really plant either one of those feet and try to push off or try to stop, that's where you're going to flex that groin muscle. And it just, it's quick. It snaps like that, right? It just is a little bit of a tear, and it just tears a little bit further.
Movements. It's those quick twitch movements that really
twitch.
activated. And
so stay away from that. I see
him, Rob. It's real touchy, bro. Because even him trying to come off the line of scrimmage, full goal, that might even be an issue. Just getting that thing activated. So I would really just ease him in, and it sucks that you really can't just say, "Hey, Debo, you back? Give me all you got." Because
right.
But knowing Debo, he was trying to give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. That's why I think you got to limit him. You got to protect him from himself. Because Debo's trying to get Debo's money right now. Debo's trying to snatch souls, right? He is racking up a statistical monster of a season, and he's not going to get in his own way there. You watch his Instagram, you watch the things that he's posting for positivity, for motivation. That dude is fired up this season. That dude is in his own head, motivating himself to be the best player he can be. He's not going to stand in his own way. So I do think it is about protecting him from himself in that regard. And it opens things up. I saw a good comment in here from Lawless Light. Deebo going to open it up for Brandon Ayuk. Him just being in the game. Kyle Shanahan can be smart about not overusing Deebo, mainly using him as the decoy, mainly using him for the fact that the defenses are going to have to adjust to try to cover him in case the 49ers open it up with Deebo. But I think that threat alone is enough. So do you see it breaking down as a split of carries between Jeff Wilson Jr. and JaMychal Hasty? Or do you think this is going to be a lot more like previous games where one back is dominating the touches, Elijah Mitchell typically getting somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of the touches? Do you see it breaking out that way, or you think it's closer to a 50-50 split with Jeff Wilson Jr. and JaMychal?
If I had to call it, I'd say that JW, Jeff Wilson's probably going to get the lion's share of the carries.
Yeah.
But the way it should go down is who got the hot hand. You never know. Hasty might be hot. And not to take nothing from Jeff Wilson, but hey, he hot right now. So
yes.
I guess you're gonna go with the game flow. And And hell, you can even have Hasty in the game at the same time with Jefferson. Having split out.
Yes.
Something. So the creativity is going to have to be at all-time high. And I hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it. Whatever you got to do to keep the ball in Jimmy's hands. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I'm with you in that my ideal game is 30-plus carries, 25 or fewer passes for Jimmy Garoppolo, because I think with those passes against this Bengals middle of the field, he can be very deadly, that he could have a 300-yard passing game on 25 passing attempts because he could be very accurate and very deadly with the yak yards against the middle of this Bengals defense and really get rolling. For other ways to increase, creativity, it would seem like an impossibility that Brian Hill gets up to speed. I mean, the 49ers brought in previous journeyman backs when they were depleted in the backfield, and only Jaquez Patrick got any carries, and it was just 2 carries for 12 yards, and he was with the team for a couple of weeks. So I'm guessing Brian Hill doesn't even make it out there. He's just insurance. But you would think they would get juice, a carry or two, or a pass out of the backfield. And then what about Trey Lance, Kev? Are they going to get any carries or snaps for the big rookie quarterback?
I was talking to one of my Niner brothers, man, and he always try to give me alternative ways of thinking, Rob. You know what I'm saying? He's like, Kev, I think personally it's more so that it's not a Shanahan don't think Trey is ready. He kind of don't want to use Trey if he don't have to, trying to prevent injury. But my thing is, if Jimmy go down, Trey got to come in. There's a chance he might get injured. I mean, but I do see what he means, and him trying to preserve him, as best he can. But this will be a great game, especially with Mitchell out. Debo still kind of being not really injured, but not 100%. Throw Trey in there to make it 11-on-11. To add another running threat. Because that's what you depleted that. Your threat of a run, and Lord knows, please don't run the damn zone read with Jimmy G no more on damn 4th and 1 or ever at all. So that'd be great. Like I said, so yeah, put Trey in there. And my thing is, if you're gonna put Trey in there, at least give him an RPO. Don't use him as a running back, Kyle, like you did with Arizona. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why he got hurt in the first damn place.
Here's what I want to see. At least once, I want to see under center, play action, roll out to the wide side of the field, cut the reads in half for the young gentleman, have some deep routes there, allow him to choose between taking a deep shot or using his legs, right? That seems to be a winning play call for a young gentleman, and remind him immediately before he walks out there, it's okay to throw it away. It's okay to not take the shot. Like if it's not there, don't take it, be conservative. I struggle to believe that that's not an instant recipe for success with how much him being on the field would stress the defense.
And oh my gosh, Roxy, I'm about to go off on a tangent, talking about this. But my thing is, like the same way you just broke down that play read for Trey.
Right.
Sadly, in his 8th year, you gotta have that talk with Jimmy. Like, listen here,
it's true.
Jimmy.
It's true.
You need to do. So my thing is, but if you can simplify the game for Jimmy, damn it, why can't you do it for Trey? But with more upside, So I mean, hey man, use what you got. Please use what you got.
What you got. Yes, people do not have faith. Jay Bat says Lance won't play unless Jimmy gets hurt. Chester Gray, Lance isn't playing, shaking my head. Chris Royal agrees that they should. They need to. Number 5, let's go. But there's doubt, and there's good reason for skepticism. It's not as if the 49ers, to this point, over the past weeks, have done anything with the young gentleman. I have to agree with Steve Young's interview, wherein he said that what they're telling me as an outside observer by not putting Trey in is that they don't have the faith that he'll be able to execute and contribute. Now, that could be misplaced. They could be wrong about that. That's my hope. But at some point, it reflects poorly on you as a coaching staff if you're unable to take that level of raw talent and not get him ready for some package, Kev. I don't care if he may not be ready to play an entire game. Great, I don't care. Get him ready for 3 plays. 3 MFing plays, Kev. How hard could that be?
And clearly hard as hell. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because and my thing is, Rob, if it's me, and I know it's not, but I'm splitting first team reps with these dudes the whole season. Because in the event he has to step in for Jimmy, he's that much more ready.
That's right.
And he's not coming off the bench cold. You know what I'm saying? So, and my thing is, since Jimmy's, doesn't need to practice per se, he's just an 8-year vet. He can use to lose some snaps. You know, I mean, you don't need them all, right? I mean, since he's that guy, which he's not. But I mean,
yeah, you would think that at this point he's got the offense down, and that would be sufficient for him in order to be able to, operate throughout the week. There have to be some practice snaps you can reallocate to the rookie, not just the scout team snaps.
Man, it's just frustrating, Rob. Man, and I'm gonna say this as like I'm going off script right quick, but as far as this whole Jimmy thing, man, and I said that last night on the show. A lot of people still step on 2017 Jimmy, 2019 Jimmy. You will never see those Jimmys again. And I'm going to tell you why you never see those Jimmys again. Number one, 2017, he was playing freely, pretty much off script, backyard football, very, very minimal playbook, and just, playing freely. 2019, he had a defense and a running game. That was, top tier. We don't have no newsflash. We don't have that anymore. So now what do you have? Bear Bricks Jimmy. And he is who he is, and he's not that guy. So Jimmy is a very cerebral, So when some of y'all wonder why he makes some of these reads, some of these throws, because he don't know no better. I mean, I'm seriously.
I hear you. I hear you, Kev.
I'm just saying. So he's not the smartest guy football. You feel me? So he's not going to be able to pick up on they're showing 3, but they're playing 2. Or they're showing 1, but they're playing 3. The safety's rotated down, so I know I gotta. He don't really have it up here like that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
if you're looking for him to get any better, no.
The implication being that he may have mastery of the offense for his skill level, but his level of mastery is not the genius level that Kyle Shanahan operates, that he wants his quarterback to operate at. He wants someone that sees the field as he sees the field. And Jimmy just doesn't at this point. I think you're right. It's been proven over and over again that Jimmy is who he is, and I think that is a quarterback that you could debate falls in anywhere from the 12 to 20 range of quarterbacks in the NFL. It would be hard in my mind to make an argument closer to 12. I would put him closer in the 15, 16 range, very middle of the road, which is respectable in the NFL. The problem being the 49ers don't want to commit to him and are therefore paying him more than you should pay a 15th or 16th best quarterback in the league, and that hamstrung them this year from doing other things to build the roster. Another piece from that Steve Young interview that I'll touch on is I believe Steve Young is correct in saying that if the 49ers are going to be legitimate threats with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback, he will need to play at a Pro Bowl level going forward. And I don't really see that being a strong reality. Much easier to get Lance going and add the plus to the offense with that.
Let me respond to that because I touched on that last night. Oh, Rob, I went off last night, bro. I mean, I had to chew my blood pressure pills, bro. Because I mean, my through the roof. Plus, through the roof. I'm telling you, got to check that out. But no, seriously. This is my thing. Steve, if you happen to see this, the only time you're going to have to play at a Pro Bowl level is if the running game is just shot to shit and the defense ain't doing their job. Other than that, make your layups, sir. Just make your layups. Make your layups. Make your layups. It's like basketball. Make your layups and don't miss your free throws.
Yes.
Don't.
Do the basics.
Point guard should not miss layups. And point guard should not miss free throws. Unfortunately, Jimmy is the point guard who does both. He misses layups and he misses free throws quite often.
Yeah.
So and that's my thing, man. Just take them when they're there. They're free throws. They're free. You know what I'm saying? Take them. They're layups, bro.
Gotta hit the layups.
And my last thing I'm gonna say about Jimmy, I said it last night too, but I want you to hear it. As of right now, you say Jimmy has a favorite receiver, right? If either Ayuk, Deebo, or Kittle are his 3 favorite receivers, right?
Right. 100%.
Here's a recipe for success for Jimmy and his team. If Jimmy Garoppolo can make his favorite receiver the open receiver, oh man,
Wouldn't that be something?
No,
Blow your mind.
So, yeah,
Chris Royal
okay,
coming in talking about Lance. Chris Royal saying, I mean, we all watched the Arizona game. He stressed out the defense and played fairly well. I just can't wrap my head around him not being able to contribute. You know, Chris, yes, we know, we hear you, and we feel you on that, that it is perplexing in that way, that he should be able to contribute. He should be able to stress these defenses. And I appreciate that maybe you can't have him platooning in and out of the game like we saw against the Raiders in the preseason, but that's not what I'm asking for. That's not what I want to see as a fan. I just want to see a couple of those high leverage point plays where bringing him in greatly stresses the defense. And let's start there. Let's start there with 3 or 4 snaps. Then let's work it up to 5 or 6. Then maybe 7 or 8. And then maybe by the playoffs, the dude is ready to step in and be a secret weapon that nobody has any significant tape on. That would be my hope for the 49ers' use of Trey Lance going forward.
And, and the more you talk about it, and every time I try to move past it, somebody comments about this shit. I'm sorry.
It's all good, Kev. It's all good.
Somebody, I try not to cuss as much as possible, but Jimmy makes me cuss. But, I every time I think about it, I'm just like, in terms of Jimmy, like, can you imagine being Kyle Shanahan? Like, I know he's stressing himself, wondering what else can he do to make Jimmy look good? Like, what else can I do to try to put him in positions to win? And like I said again last night, be it a family member, Rob, or you see on TV, a TV show, or a movie, you ever see, you got family members out in the waiting room, pacing back and forth, for the doctor to come out and say, and the doctor says, I'm sorry, we did all we could. We did all we could. That's it.
That's where we're at with Jimmy.
Right.
We did all we could. It's
Kyle's
over.
Like, I've done all I could, man. I mean,
dead on the operating table at this point.
Yeah.
I feel you. But Kyle Shanahan is sticking to him even harder now. Kyle Shanahan is glued to Jimmy Garoppolo as if it is clear as day that he gives the 49ers the best chance to win. And I see why that's so frustrating for so many people, because you see a game like the one against Seattle last week, which is pretty vintage Jimmy, which is pretty much what you should expect on a semi-regular basis. He can string together 3 or 4 solid games in a row, but then he will have one like he did against Seattle. And so it becomes a question of whether the 49ers are content with that. Kev, you still there, my man? Ooh, we may have lost Kev. Oh, there he is. He's in.
My allergies are acting up. I had to.
I hear you. All right, I'm bringing in Andre's comment here. If we get a good start, I'm sure we can control the game. It's up to Jimmy G to spread the ball around. Go Niners. I do think Andre's got a fantastic point here that is key.
He does.
The Bengals love to control time of possession as well. They're averaging 31 minutes, 30 seconds on the year. So they've done a good job of controlling time of possession. There's no better way for the 49ers to take advantage in this game than to tilt time of possession towards themselves with a strong running game, some of these patented long drives that we get on. But in order to do so, they're going to have to play mistake-free football, and that just isn't what we saw on the field last week.
I'm glad you said that, too, because here's where I kind of defend Jimmy just a little bit.
Yes.
So record this because you're not going to hear it much.
Yeah, this is Jimmy Defense by Silverado Kev. So write this down.
Unfortunately, there are times where Jimmy is playing well, or we're ahead of the sticks, right?
Yep.
And then we get a drop, followed by a false start,
right?
Followed by an illegal formation. So now it's like 1st and 25, or third, and then like So you know what I'm saying? So it's just the team has to play disciplined football as well, and it's sad to say that things really do need to be perfect for Jimmy to excel. It just that's the way it is. Third and short. I know you can't be easier than 1st and 10, but hell, 1st and 5 somehow maybe, I don't know, but just have him in position to where he can excel, to where he doesn't have to come from behind the sticks, because
Right.
that's when he begins to struggle.
Right.
So like my man said, start fast, kind of get Jimmy in the groove, and hopefully he stays there.
Got to start fast. J-Bats, this one could be tricky if we end up seeing it, saying, I bet we see Jimmy passes more than handoffs. Cincy's weakness is the middle of the field. Kittle and Deebo will feast on that. So I agree that Cincinnati's weakness on defense is the middle of the field. I don't think there's any dispute to that point. But I stick with Kyle Shanahan should develop the run first. If we bail immediately toward attacking the middle of the field, we become unbalanced as an offense. We commit some of those stupid penalties or stupid turnovers and then fall behind, and now are playing catch up and are dictated to have to pass. And then it doesn't matter that there is weakness in the middle of the field. If Cincinnati knows you have to pass and they know you're targeting the middle of the field, all of a sudden they can change their defensive schemes to really stop the 49ers from being able to do that. So it has to be on the back of a strong run game in my book.
And, as much as Cincinnati may struggle covering the middle of the field, Rob, if I'm a DC, I'm a DC myself, I'm just saying, hey, on Madden, you can set your defense up to, play the sidelines. Nah, play the middle. Just congest the middle.
Crowd the middle.
Congest the middle for them. Crowd the middle. And then now what? So we'll see, what happens. But the run game first. I don't give a damn how bad they are in the middle. If the run game isn't working, them linebackers not creeping up. They creeping up and sticks right there. Like, go ahead, I dare you to do something.
Right.
Like last week when he threw the interception to Bobby Wagner. He saw Bobby see him and still threw that pass. In the middle of the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see you see me, but I'm still get it to you. So anyway,
I see you see me.
Right. So my thing is, if the run game is working, of course they're kind of going to be a little more hesitant, or they may bite.
That's right. Slow them down a half a step.
But if it's not working, they don't give it. What's a read step? That's the only reason that the linebackers say read step pretty much is to honor a potential run. Other than that, they kind of just sitting there and just sitting in one spot. And
the same is true for Sam Hubbard over Tom Compton. You got to slow him down a half a step in trying to contain on the edge for fear that we're going to run outside, as opposed to just rushing Jimmy with everything he's got. Because if he bull rushes Tom Compton, I am sorry to say, I don't think Tom Compton wins that battle very many times today. All right, Texas Niner. This one I'm just throwing out there. I'll give my answer. I'm curious to ask the faithful here, what is y'all's pump-up song pre-Niner game? So I don't necessarily have one that I play before the game. I should. I'm just naturally hyped. Like, there's not much more pumped up that you can get than I am before the start of a 49er game. But my classic goes back to days at Candlestick Park. Goes back to the memory of me with my dad in the late mid-'80s, early '90s, all those games that he and I went to together. And it was Start Me Up from the Rolling Stones. It was the song that the Niners played right before kickoff religiously at Candlestick Park. And so for me, every time I hear that song, it reminds me of about to be kickoff. Niners are about to go live. Kev, do you have a more upbeat song that you listen to prior to kickoff?
Man, I got a plethora of songs like that. Tear the club up type songs. But one of my favorite, though, to this day, is Mystical, Here I Go. You know what I'm saying? Mystical, that doom, doom, doom. I mean, just when the beat drop, it just, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go to my alter ego. You know what I'm saying? But that's one of them. Or, Archie, We Ready. We Ready. You can't not get hyped to that one.
That's right.
So yeah. So it's a couple of them,
I love it, Kev.
E40 for sure.
You can't go wrong with E40.
From the city. Right.
Cannot go wrong with E40. I grew up listening to E40 for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Good question.
All right, Luke Luna coming in. It was never about Jimmy was the best chance to win. They played Jimmy with the chance to go all the way. But Jimmy is here to allow Trey to sit. That was always the plan. I mean, Luke Luna, I say that I would respectfully disagree with a part of that. For me, I agree with Steve Young. Kyle Shanahan is doing everything to win every game. I think that is his priority. Now, he is balancing that with what you're saying here. So I agree that, yes, the priority also has to be balanced with Trey's progression, Trey being the future of this franchise, Trey being, the bright and shiny toy for next year. Absolutely. But I think Kyle's doing everything he can to win every single game. I think having a winning season this year matters to him, matters to his staff. There may have to be some layoffs if the 49ers were to drop some of these games unexpectedly. So I see it as Kyle trying to win every game. And I think if he believed Trey gave him an added advantage, he would work him in. Again, he could be wrong about that, but I have to believe that he would put him in if he could.
Okay, let's see. You it just happens a lot. I just don't see for the people to say Trey not ready or X, Y, Z. My thing is, if you're saying Trey isn't ready because he's making the same mistakes as a rookie that Jimmy's making as an 8-year vet, I don't. That's like a wash to me. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, because Jimmy's doing the same things. Like Bruce just said, he's what do you say? He's a repeat error, something about
error repeater or something like that.
Yeah, error repeater, yeah. And my thing as a coach, Rob, if one of my guys, I tell my guys all the time, I don't mind you making new mistakes or different mistakes, but don't make the same mistake. Don't get beat on the same play. If
That's
you get beat on 3 different plays, okay, but don't get beat on the same play. That lets me know you're not paying attention. You know what I'm saying?
So Kev, I agree with you there that if that were the only difference that Kyle were seeing, and I mean, but that's just the reality for me is we don't know behind the scenes that we have to sort of take a piece of what we see and make a storyline out of it and interpret pieces. And so I agree with you that if that's all that Kyle's seeing in practices, that Trey's making, rookie mistakes, which are pretty mirroring to what Jimmy does as a veteran, then I think you make the switch. Like it's unreal that you wouldn't. My thought is that it's most likely more than that, and I'm taking it at face value. I am completely transparent in that. And I also want to see for myself, which is why I want the snaps. I want Trey on the field so that we have evidence of Trey doing great things and helping the Niners win games. William Bennett calls this back in. I had to do it, Kev. Remember, sweep the leg. LOL. We were unable to sweep the leg against Seattle, but this week against Joe Burrow, it is going to be about sacking that man, and that's going to take us into our next topic, which is the 49ers secondary against a three-headed monster, because this sets up for me, and Kev, let me know what you think, that it's much less about the ability of the 49ers to cover that three-headed monster in Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, and T. Higgins, and it is much more about cutting off the monster at the head and getting to Joe Burrow. Get to the man, because check out this statistic. Thanks to Taylor, my insider from the Who Dey Den podcast. In games where Burrow has been sacked 2 or fewer times, 2 or less, 279 yards per game, 12-4 touchdown to interception ratio, 5-0 record. The man is undefeated when he's sacked twice or fewer times. In games where he has been sacked 3 or more times, drops down to 248 yards per game. 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, almost a 1-to-1 ratio in those games where he's getting sacked 3 or more, and most importantly, a 2-5 record. If you're putting the over-under at 2.5 sacks on this game, if I'm betting that line, Kev, I'm smashing the over. Absolutely smashing the over. So to me, that sets up as the advantage, to cut off the monster at the head by attacking Joe Burrow.
Now, here's the thing, too. I've been hearing about his finger. I guess it was a broken finger. Was it on his throwing hand?
Pinky on his right hand, the throwing hand.
How ironic is it? The last 2 weeks we had quarterbacks that had finger issues.
Very ironic.
You know what I'm saying? But clearly last week that didn't play a part. But anyway, hopefully, that pinky finger, and I've thrown the football a time or two. That pinky kind of got to be right. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, sweep the leg again. Damn, let's just go with it. Sweep the finger.
Sweep the finger.
stay in his face. I mean, and like I said last night on the show, they don't have to be sacks. And like I tell my guys, I coach,
No.
you don't have to be a sack. A pressure is good. A hurry is good. A knockdown is good. I mean, just take him off his spot, make him do something more ahead of schedule than he planned on. You see what I'm saying? So just hurry and rushing, because this football's about timing. Basketball is about timing. So if we got a guy being somewhere, but he's forced to try to get the ball there before he's there, that's interception possibilities, knockdown. So, hey, man, just stay in his face. Make him uncomfortable. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fact, Kev. You are spitting it right now because to me, you're talking about Joe Burrow coming off a major knee injury last season where my inside sources, Taylor, tells me early in the year, you watch those Bengals games, he didn't look comfortable. He's coming back from that lower leg injury. You don't want to see bodies around you when you're thinking about your knee, when you're thinking about a surgically repaired limb. It is about the quarterback hits for me in this game. It is about hitting that hand with that damaged pinky, making him feel it. I mean, not in any dirty way, not in any cheap shots, but legitimate, hard-nosed football. Get after the man and knock him to the ground, make him uncomfortable. And I think that's absolutely key to success because otherwise, Kev, this sets up as a terrible, terrible matchup. The three-headed monster, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins versus Josh Norman and company, minus Dante Johnson. I mean, we had two practice squatters this week that I had to look up in Savion Smith and Luke Barku because I don't know who they are. And it may come down to one of those dudes getting activated and making some play if we're not able to knock around Burrow a bit.
The fact that you mentioned missing Dante Johnson, that's an issue in itself.
Isn't it, though? When you're thinking, man, if only we had Dante Johnson.
Right. Oh, my word, man. Woo.
Painful.
Yeah, go get Joe. Yeah, go get Joe. Go get him.
Go get Joe. And Josh Norman, how about another peanut punch? The man leads the league in 7 forced fumbles.
No,
but
you know what? Damn that. I got something to say to Josh Norman.
Let's say it.
That damn run we gave up to Adrian Peterson last week off the left side.
Yeah.
And he's the boundary corner.
Yeah.
Why are you flying up to the inside if you're a boundary corner? Set the damn edge, Josh.
Set the
edge. And then had the nerve to run after him. Like, really?
Because I tell you what, Joe Mixon runs a little better than Adrian Peterson at this point in his career. Joe Mixon's a bigger threat. So, yeah, set the edge, my man. And then worry about the forced fumbles. No worries.
Right.
Chris Royal coming in with the super chat. Can we comfortably say if we started Lance day one that we'd be worse than 6-6 right now? I do like Jimmy, but Trey could have got us this far, in my opinion. Chris, I think that's fair speculation. I hesitate between trying to I like prognostication. I like predicting the future. Why? Because when I predict the future, I'm proven right or I'm proven wrong, right? The future will happen, and then it'll show me, damn, did I misread the logic that I used to make that statement? My problem with rewriting history is you're never going to be right or wrong about it. It already happened. And so I agree, maybe Trey would have got us to here. Maybe we'd be 9-3 at this point. But there's such a butterfly effect that happens when you shift quarterbacks that, hell, if we had started Trey week 1, maybe Mostert doesn't get injured. Maybe we're 12-0 at this point. You know what I'm saying? So it's too many variables for me to take a wager at it. But I get what you're saying, that it seems like Trey could add what Jimmy adds and then some. So I understand the logic behind it, but I try to stay away from rewriting it.
I do want to say to that, I do feel that at worst we'd be 6-6 with Trey, and so and not just that. I believe if Trey had started from day one, week 1, he'd be much better by now. Versus Jimmy, kind of being around the same or getting worse, fluctuating each week. So I mean, a lot of the rookies would have been much better by now. So my thing is, we could have been 6-6 with Trey Lance. I mean, damn, now you can't pay me to believe otherwise. So 6-6 are better, and not to mention, you can't tell me Trey Lance isn't any better now than he was in week 1. But Jimmy's not. Jimmy is the same Jimmy. You seen that TV series Squid Game on Netflix?
No, I haven't watched it at all.
Oh well, you probably won't get the reference then. But anyway, it's almost like life or death every snap with Jimmy. You know, you don't know if he's gonna do something good for you, do something bad for you. So it's
He might knock you out of the game, out of the Squid Game. Yeah, I know everybody in the comments knows what you're talking about with Squid Game. I think I am in the vast minority not having watched that series.
Real quick, imagine there's a game they played on there, Rob, where there were two columns that was all full of glass. You had glass that could hold the weight of two people. Then you had the glass that as soon as you drop the nickel on it, it'll crash and you fall to your death. And so the point of the game was, jumping on the glass to get from one side to the other. And that's what it's like with Jimmy. Some guys are 1, 2, 3, great, and then on that fourth piece of glass, they fall through. So that's what it's like with Jimmy. You never know what you're gonna get. It's like, you know what I'm saying? So
never know.
You're gonna crash, you're gonna burn.
Never know. William Bennett coming in with a super chat as well. Yes, get after the quarterback. With chaos comes confusion. That to me is the key for the defense, that it is all about Nick Bosa. It is all about those complementary players. We do need someone opposite of Bosa to step up. I don't care if it comes from the interior and it's my man DJ Jones. I don't care if it's Eric Armstead off of the interior and feasting a little bit and getting the sack. I don't care if it's Charles Omenihu over on the opposite side. I don't care if it's Jordan Willis. I don't care if it's Samson Ebukam. Somebody has to compliment Bosa. It will be a multi-sack game for Bosa in my book. I think he gets 2+ on his side, but somebody else needs to compliment. We have to get that third sack or more. Got to hit Burrow. Got to make him uncomfortable. All right, let's get into our final topic because it's almost kickoff, and we gotta cut the broadcast at 1:25 so I can get my butt upstairs to watch that game. So let's get into a little bit of game prediction. Kev, if you were breaking this thing down in a synopsis of the game, how do you see it breaking out, and what do you see the final score breaking down as?
I told myself I wasn't doing any more score predictions, but
no score prediction required if you think it's going to jinx it.
Well, I just hope we win. I don't give a damn. We win a field goal to a safety. I just hope we win. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, man, because it's hard to predict. It really is, man, because, life is like a Jimmy G. You never know what you're going to get, a box of Jimmy G's, man. You never know what you're going to get.
Jimmy G is like a box of chocolates in that regard.
You know what I'm saying? So,
You'll take however we win this thing. Sean 951 Niners coming in saying game time in 5 minutes. We are down to 2 minutes now. It is Niners 38-17. Book it. That's a big bet. If you tease that point spread to that point, you could get paid big time. I am right on that. Jason Walsh, we need to pull this win out from the Bengals. It is hunting season 100%. So I'll get back to Sean's point here that I'm with you that Niners are going to win this thing. I think it will be a little bit closer. I do predict that the way in which the 49ers win is controlling the clock. That we will see a game where Kyle Shanahan gets into his bag like there are chips at the bottom, gets creative with his game plan, with his run schemes, that we do see some snap from Trey Lance at some point in this game. I am predicting that officially right now. I think you see some creative decoys using Debo Samuel. The 49ers control the clock and get 31 minutes of time of possession or greater, and that Nick Bosa hits a multi-sack game, and the 49ers sack Joe Burrow 3 or 4 times in this one, and that to me is enough for them to take this thing. I'm doing my official prediction the way I picked it on the Bengals podcast earlier this week. I've got the 49ers winning 31-24. I think this is going to be a hard-fought one, and one that, at the end of the game, if we're only up a score or less, and the ball is in Joe Burrow's hands with that three-headed monster, I'm gonna be clenched. I'm gonna be tight. I'm gonna be nervous. But I think the 49ers got this one. Kev, we just hit the 125 mark. It's time to go watch that game. As always, the links for Kevin's Twitter, the links for Kev's Real Talk 49ers, Real Talk Niners
Real
Talk.
Talk Niners Talk, right.
Real Talk Niners Talk. Always, I got to read the promo. Go follow that description down below. Follow, subscribe, and get it going. Kev, thank you so much for being on today and counting down to the game with me, brother. I will see you again soon. Here's to you, Niner faithful.
All right, bro.